Hey there, LBT Squad. I'm your host, Alex Pop, and we have a very special guest with us here today. Since young age, she has starred in dozens of movies, stage productions, and radio shows like Adventures in Odyssey, and she has played a big part in making our childhoods because of her voice work as Ducky the Swimmer in every Land Before Time movie since The Mysterious Island. Her amazing talent in that role won her the Young Artist Award for voiceover back in 2002. And she has returned for the role for the 10th time in the new upcoming The Land Before Time 14 Journey of the Brave. So please welcome Aria Noelle Curzon. Hi, Aria.
Hello.
Okay, so first off, I have to say thank you so much for taking the time to do this, to be able to talk to someone who has been a huge part in what this channel is about. It's really an honor.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be able to connect with you and do this. This is super fun.
Great. So, first things first, tell us about yourself. And so, what do you like to do outside of acting?
Oh, I like to do lots of things. I'm a very adventurous person. I would say I'm pretty adventurous, but it could range. Sometimes I like going out and trying new things. Other times I just love staying home and cuddling with my animals and being comfy and warm in my footy pajamas. So, but in general, I love animals. I love spending time with animals. I would love to rescue animals one day or have my own animal sanctuary. Oh. I also love cooking. Like, I love cooking for myself or anyone who will eat my food because it's relaxing for me and it's a place where I feel like I'm free to be creative and do whatever I want and make people happy, which is what I want to do in my life. So I love doing that. I love going to see movies. And being in nature, watching the stars is a very big favorite pastime of mine.
Yeah.
I also love watching like shows on, Netflix, Hulu. Love Neil deGrasse Tyson, Cosmos. Good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, so do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older sister. She's my half-sister. We were raised separately, but we've gotten very close over the years, and she lives up in Sacramento. Her name is Tiffany. Hi, Shrub. That's what we call each other. We're each other's shrub.
Shrub.
And I can tell you the backstory of that, too. We texted each other one time, or I texted her, and I meant to say Sista, like S-I-S-T-A. But my autocorrect turned it into the word shrub. So from that day forward, we were shrub.
Okay. It's funny. So you just got engaged, right?
Yes. Yeah, on November.
So tell us about your fiancé and how you guys fell in love.
He's also an actor, and that's how we met when we were kids. His name is J. Paul Zimmerman. And we met doing the movie Treehouse Hostage, which I don't know if you've seen, but it was a really fun, kid-oriented movie starring, oh gosh, I want to say Ernest. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, can we, start this one over? Can you edit this out?
Okay.
Jim Varney, thank you. I'm really bad with names. It was starring Jim Varney. I knew him as Ernest growing up. That's why I always want to say Ernest. But it was really fun. So I was 10 and he was 11, and we stayed friends. And there were several years where we didn't see each other, and then he came back to LA and we got back in touch, and that was about almost 5 years ago now.
Huh. I'll have to,
and he's also a writer and director and actor now. He's written a lot of his own projects, and he has a company called ZFO that he does sci-fi content with, and they're releasing sci-fi short series and interviews. They go to Comic-Con type stuff and interview characters and celebrities and stuff.
Yeah. It's the Treehouse family. I'll have to check that one out.
Treehouse Hostage, yes.
Treehouse Hostage family, okay.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to be an actress? Was there anyone who was like your main inspiration?
Well, when I was very young, I was an avid Shirley Temple fan. So I watched all of her movies, and I just fell in love with how cute and perky and talented she was. And I was kind of, similar type when I was little, and little blonde and curly hair and all that. And I started learning her songs, and I just kind of thought, hey, that looks fun. I think I could do that. And my mom was very quick to pick up the ball. She looked into opportunities for me pretty much right away, and I got my first agent by the age of 5.
All right, so that brings me to the next question. What was your very first acting role? At the age of 5.
Depends on how you define it. I was in a play in kindergarten. I was in the Babes in Toyland play. But my first on-screen role was Step by Step. I played a little co-star guest character on Step by Step. But prior to that, I did a commercial, actually, a Crayola commercial, which was my first time on television. But it was a commercial. So it depends on how you count first role.
All right. So, who is your favorite character that you've ever played in a movie, TV show, or stage production?
Oh. See, I'm not good at choosing because I love something about every character I've done. But I often have to say that Ducky and Mandy, Ducky from Land Before Time, of course, and Mandy from Adventures in Odyssey, they're both my longest running characters. I played Mandy from about the age of 8 till 16, and I played Ducky from about 8 till now, with a few years in between. And those have definitely been the projects that have connected me to the fans, so to speak, and people who've really enjoyed those projects. And, they're both just such good family-oriented, quality shows, and I really feel lucky and blessed to be a part of them. The other favorite role, I will say my favorite stage role was I did Not Getting Married Today, which I don't know if you've heard that song, but you should look it up because it's very fun.
Today.
Yeah. I was Amy. Her name was Amy, and she was this very kind of neurotic and nervous person. She has the fastest song in the show, and it was very fun to learn it. There's a lot of words, and it was just a really fun role.
What is the most challenging role that you've ever taken on?
I kind of would have to Amy from Company, because it was my first major role in a musical, and it's a lot more pressure when you have a bigger part to fill. And I'd say Ducky and Mandy were so much like me that they weren't challenging, but they were like really fun, and I felt comfortable in those roles. But I think Amy, or I was also in an episode of Without a Trace where I played a mental patient, and that was definitely different for me, and it was a challenge to sort of get into that place.
If there's any past performance of yours that you could go back and redo, what would it be?
That's a tough question, because I'm kind of one of those people, I move on. Like, as soon as it's done, I try not to think about it anymore, because I know I could go back and, like, pick things apart. A lot of actors could. So my favorite makes me think of Edna from The Incredibles. I don't look back, darling. It distracts from the now. But pretty much, there's always things that you feel like, you're your own worst critic. But I pretty much, I'm happy with everything I've done. Not because I think it's the best thing ever, but I'm just, it's in the past, and I'm grateful to have been a part of the things I've been a part of.
All right. So between radio, on screen, and on stage, which is your favorite medium of acting?
Oh. Depends on my mood. I would say stage, actually, because there's an amazing energy being on stage. There's an amazing feeling when you're creating something live that's never going to be seen again, because it's different every time. And any stage actor will tell you, like, every audience will make the show different. You can make different choices, and you go on a journey with that individual group of people. and I love that. But voiceover is my tried and true, long time love. And if I never got to do anything else in my life but like lots more voiceover, I think I'd be pretty happy.
Okay. Have you? I know that you've had as we were discussing before, you've had small parts in big Hollywood productions like Prince of Egypt, and you were also you were the waitress from the Muppets who interrupts the song "Me Party," right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, have you ever considered getting into like a major role in a big Hollywood production?
I consider that all the time. I would be happy to. It just depends on really what opportunities are presented. I'm always open to them. I've definitely auditioned for some big stuff, and as an actor, you don't always get what you want. But I've auditioned for like Titanic, and that's the biggest thing I remember at this moment that I've auditioned for. Oh, and Jurassic Park.
Really?
Funny. The third one, but I didn't get either of those. So if it happens, it happens, and if not, then I'll continue doing other stuff that I love and doing whatever comes my way, because that's what it'll be meant to be.
All right. Well, I'll be rooting for you for that. So I know that I have a few followers who... Okay. I know that I have a few followers who really want to be an actor one day, so do you have any advice to give them?
Yeah, tons. It's a long journey. It's a long process. Go into it knowing that it's going to take training. It's going to take getting used to rejection sometimes, because you have to go on so many auditions, usually to get even one. So you have to be resilient, learn not to take things personally, and make sure to seek feedback from people who are going to be honest and help you grow. And make sure it's something you really, really, really love, because then you'll never give up on it. That's the great thing about acting. You can do acting until you're 100 years old, and there's always going to be opportunities, that you couldn't necessarily predict. So just keep at it. Meet lots of people who are interested in doing the same things you do, because they're going to help keep you motivated, and you might get to work together, to create things. This is a lot. I know I'm saying a lot, but believe me, over the years you gather stuff and you're just kind of putting it all out there. When you're first starting, if you're seeking like representation or there's somebody who's interested in helping you out, make sure you don't pay anything up front, because there's a lot of people out there trying to scam people, who don't know anything about the industry. So do your research, make sure it's reputable, and get training, because it's unless like you're just this huge personality that they're just gonna cast because you're you want to have as much in your toolbox as possible. You want to be like, you want to have classes, and you want to have diversity, train in comedy, train in drama, be as flexible as possible, and then narrow it down and figure out what you really want and go for it.
All right.
That's a lot, I know.
Yeah. Okay, so the most of the rest of these questions are regarding of The Land Before Time. So, how were you selected to be the voice of Ducky after Heather Hogan left?
Well, they had a wide search. They held lots of auditions. They put out a casting call basically to agents in Hollywood or surrounding areas. And I had heard about the audition from a friend who was auditioning for it. And my mom asked my agent, is there any way she could get in on this? It sounds like something she might be good for. And my agent was really amazing, and she went to bat for me, and she got me an audition. And I went in, read, the lines that they provided. And at first they thought I might sound a little too much like Shirley Temple, which is kind of funny. But they gave me a call back, they let me come in and do it again. They gave me some adjustments, and before I knew it, I got the role.
All right. Prior to your audition, had you watched The Land Before Times 1 through 4?
I had watched a few of them. I don't remember if I watched all of them because, you only have so much time to prepare for an audition. But I did watch at least the first one and probably the fourth one, so I could know, who I was most recently trying to sound like. But in the end, I think it was more about a spirit that they were going for and not about an actual, identical voice. Because if you listen to Heather Hogan and me, we sound a little different. There's some difference.
Yeah, of course. Back with the Mysterious Island, there's kind of a similarity there. I guess Ducky has kind of gotten older too. So, between movies 4 and 5, I think they sounded pretty similar.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I did my best. I was 8 years old, so when I didn't really have at the time the training behind it. I was very young. I was just naturally good at reading. I was naturally good at being expressive. So I did my best, but and if it came out, similarly, then that's good.
So right now, how hard is it for you to adjust your voice to that of Ducky?
It's not hard anymore because I went through this period of time when I was around 12 or 13, and I think that was when 11 and 12 or 10 or 11 maybe were coming out. And they were worried for a while because other characters were growing up and they had to replace Littlefoot, a few times. So I had to work at it then. But now it's so much her voice is so much a part of mine and when I was little, it was just my voice. That was exactly how I talked all the time. But now, it's the difference between, hi, my name is Aria Curzon, and hi, my name is Aria Curzon. It's just a lot more up and down, really, but it's fun.
So, without getting into details, because this is a family show, when you had started your work on Ducky, had you known about Judith Barsi?
I did. I remember being told about it, or overhearing the grown-ups, I'll say, talk about it. And my mom sort of explained to me the situation. And, you're pretty young. You don't really understand exactly what it means, but I knew about it, and I was very sad. And I hear about it. People will tell me about it, again, did you know this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And it's one of those very tough things to get by, to digest when you realize what really happened. But I have a special connection to her, and I think, it's extra touching because of that, because I got to kind of carry her torch that she started, and she really seems like a sweet, beautiful little angel, and I just hope she's in peace now. I'm sure she is.
Yeah, I'm sure she is too. Yeah. So, go bit more upbeat. What was your favorite song to sing in the series?
Oh, it's a toss-up between Friends for Dinner. Honestly, all the songs from Land Before Time 5, Mysterious Island, Friends for Dinner, Always There, and oh gosh, the third one. It's escaping me. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Big Water?
Big Water! Yeah. Yes! Those were great. I love those so much. There's such good lyrics in those shows. In those songs, I can still, I sing them just randomly sometimes. And
yeah, me too. I love Always There the most. Yeah, that's probably like my that's probably like my favorite in any of the sequels. Mainly because it's like the first time after the first movie where Littlefoot sings about his mother.
Always
It's it right
there.
here.
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay, it's made clear in several Land Before Time movies that Ducky and Petrie have a very close friendship, and many fans of the series think that there may even be a crush between the two. Would you agree with that?
You know, I think anything's possible, but I think of them as such young, great friends. All of the whole group, they work so well together.
Yeah.
I would think there'd be almost more of a thing between Sarah and Littlefoot, but you know, it's possible. I just see them as great friends, especially because I know Jeff, who plays Petrie. So maybe that influences my thoughts on the matter, but I've never seen them that way personally.
Yeah. I sort of I sort of have kind of seen that. I can understand all the fan fiction there's been with Ducky and Petrie. They're like the second most popular couple. The first being Littlefoot and Allie. You know, Allie from Journey Through the Mist.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a video on this later, but I would honestly kind of like to see Ducky and Petrie's friendship go somewhere, but they don't end up together because they're completely different species. They maybe come to acknowledge, that's just not sorry, it's just not the way that we were born, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Okay.
about that too when that question. I'm like, well, I don't know if that would ever happen in that world, in that universe,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they appreciate each other very much in
Yeah,
a very
I'm sure.
special way.
Okay, there's some noise going down. Okay. Was there ever a time when you recorded lines for one of the movies when you looked at the script and you thought, this doesn't feel like Ducky? Like it didn't seem very in character?
Not really, except for the obvious times when she's gone, when she's struggled with emotions, like when when Spike was leaving the herd and
Yeah.
going off on his own. That was a challenge for Ducky, but obviously it was something she had to go through. So aside from that, there's really been nothing major. And if there was, they make little tweaks and adjustments along the way. And I'm sure if I felt super strongly about something, I could say that
All right.
I could at least bring it up. Like maybe she wouldn't say this, but so far, no. I feel like
Right.
they're really good at writing Ducky.
Well, if it does happen, they probably would be wise to listen to you. You've been the voice of her for like 20 years now, so you probably understand her better than anyone else on set. Yeah. So, how did you find out that there was a 14th Land Before Time movie in the works?
Kind of a funny story. About a week before I got the call asking if I was available to do Land Before Time 14, a friend of mine's son was auditioning for the Littlefoot role. And she texted me, and she writes, like, "Are you doing the next Land Before Time?" And I was like, "What? What? Oh, what is this? This has been like 7 years. What do you mean the next Land Before Time? I better be doing the next Land Before Time." And I didn't know, so I reached out to my agent, and then like a week later they called and offered me the role, again. But that's how I found out, because a friend of mine's son was auditioning.
So, what was it like to get the gang back together, with other returning actors like Andy, Jeff, and Rob?
It's so fun. It's one of the experiences I've cherished most in my life has been working with those people. They always treated me so well. Andy is honestly kind of like a big sister to me. We talk a lot, and, we've spent time outside of working together, just doing different things. And I love Rob and Jeff. They are hilarious and kind and genuine. So it was like a reunion,
Yeah.
And I was so excited to be back with those people. It just feels like family. So it was great.
Yeah. I'm definitely really excited to get back together again with those characters. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So-
never thought it would happen, so it was amazing.
Okay, to go kind of back to a bit more of the emotional route, was it hard to be there again without Kenneth Mars and John Ingle?
Yeah, there was definitely that twinge. I mean, it's been some time, since we lost both of them.
Yeah.
But there was definitely that realization, new actors had to come in for those roles. And I actually don't think I met them, the ones taking over their characters. But of course, I mean, they're so beloved and such sweet, funny people as well that they were definitely missed, and it was definitely acknowledged how special they were, and a lot of memories were passed around of them. So it was really good. I mean, in the end.
I didn't put this one in here, but just kind of something I wondered just now. Who is going to be voicing Grandpa and Sarah's dad? If you're allowed to spill that information, because it hasn't exactly been confirmed yet. But
to be honest, I don't know. I mean, because we weren't with everybody when we recorded. We were only with a certain, selection of actors at different times.
All right.
So I don't.
All right.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll find out before the month's end, I guess. Or maybe we won't even know until the movie's on DVD. Okay, so without getting into spoilers, does Ducky have any kind of major role in Journey of the Brave, or is she just kind of along for the trip?
It's not centered around Ducky this time, but she's still as much of a collaborator and a colluder as the rest of them. They all work pretty well together in this. There is a portion, like you said, no spoilers, where there is a separation with one of the characters. So it's kind of the this larger group, and then one that goes off and for a little while. That we all work together very well, and I think there's really no like major.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it without giving anything away, but just part of the group. I'll say that.
All right, yeah. So, do you have a favorite song from Journey of the Brave?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I can say the name though.
We have all the names. The names have all been announced. They're on the Walmart site.
Okay, that's funny because I was looking on Wikipedia earlier and they don't have the names on there. So I was like, have they said the names? Hot and Stinky.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun kind of character-y song, and I like those character songs. That's why I like Friends for Dinner and
all right.
Dinosaur.
Well, that was just by the title. That honestly kind of sounded like the least appealing of the four songs, but all right. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to hearing it now.
But it's just a little simpler. It's just more like. I think that song's a little more centered around Littlefoot, so it was like less for me to do in it. But
all right.
Actually, it was a good combination. But Hot and Stinky was fun. That's all I can say. It was just fun and quirky and charactery.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it now. All right.
Okay.
So, what do you hope that families will get out of seeing the movie?
Well, the number one thing I hear from fans is that this movie embodies like their childhood, or it is a huge part of their childhood. So I hope that people can just relax with their families and kind of go back and feel like kids again, because they're going to see their favorite characters that they've grown up with, and I just hope that it feels true to the heart of what everybody loves about Land Before Time. And I hope that they enjoy the story and feel heartwarmed. Yes.
All right.
More than anything.
Yeah, I'm sure looking forward to it, and honestly, after having such a great opportunity to talk to you, I'm gonna feel really terrible if I end up not liking it. I'm sure I will. I'm pretty sure I'll like it. So, all right. So finally, what do you feel has been the biggest accomplishment in your life? If it hasn't been brought up already.
That's tough. Because, you think about a wide range of different areas in life. But honestly, for me, it would be anything I've done to help other people. Awards and all that and stuff is great, but it's like up to a bunch of people that you may never see and may never talk to, and it's kind of arbitrary because there's so many great performances out there, and there's so many talented people. But for me, the biggest accomplishments in my life have just been helping people I love get through tough times, or making people smile, helping animals, rescuing animals. If I'm one of those people, I'll pull over on the side of the street and grab a dog if they're running loose and try to find their owners. It's like simple things like that. I think that should be all of our biggest accomplishments, is just helping our fellow human beings and animals.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for helping me out with this. It's really been, quite honestly, probably I don't want to say this in front of my followers, but this is probably the best thing about starting this channel. I mean, maybe it's a tie between talking to you and being able to bring old fans together. I guess it's probably a tie, yeah.
Okay.
To close the interview, I have 5 movie quotes for you to recite in the voice of Ducky. Okay, from Toy Story, To Infinity and Beyond.
To infinity and beyond!
Okay, from Sudden Impact, Go ahead, make my day.
Go ahead, make my day.
Awesome. That's, from In the Heat of the Night, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh gosh. I don't know how he says that, but...
They call me Mr. Tibbs, something like that. Yeah.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Yeah. Alright, 2 more from Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I missed the yep. Okay. And finally, from The Room, You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
You forgot to, you forgot to omit the contraction.
What? Which one?
You are, because Ducky doesn't use contractions.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
Okay. Alright, that was so great, yeah. Okay, once again, 1,000 times, thank you for doing this. It's really an honor.
You're very welcome.
You are honestly probably one of the nicest people I've ever met, to be so willing to be outgoing and taking the time to do this. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. I'm really glad. I'm honored to be a part of your show. And if if the next one, if there's another one that comes out, let's do this again.
All right.
Try to have another interview and bring more people in, maybe.
All right. Well, how about it, folks? Let's hear it for the next Shirley Temple. Miss Aria Noelle Curzon. That's her. All right.
And Kristen.